name is Meredith, and I am here to teach you how to paint beautiful, realistic paintings using acrylics as your color medium. The video today is going to be a continuation on the topic of geometric shapes and how to make the geometric shapes three-dimensional and how to use them in a painting. We've already gone over the sphere and how to use that. We've gone over the cylinder and the ellipse. And so today we're going to go over squares and rectangles. The square and the rectangle can be turned into boxes, as this little demonstration here shows. When you turn a square and a rectangle into a box, it makes it three-dimensional. Even without being painted, it's still three-dimensional. But when you paint it and give it some color, and it adds more dimension, and also this is how you would use it in a painting. And so each of these surfaces is flat. The square and the rectangle all have flat surfaces, and each of these surfaces is on a different plane. And so when the light comes in from the left, each surface receives more light or less light. And that's how we have to paint these squares and the rectangles. Anything with a flat surface is going to reflect the light at a different angle. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to paint some rocks to demonstrate how that happens. And this is my little canvas, and I've just taken some charcoal and sketched some rocks on this little canvas here. And I'm going to show you my palette. We're going to make the rocks gray. And so this is what the palette looks like today. And if you recall, to make gray, you use all three primary colors, yellow, red, and blue. Mix them all together, and you'll get a nice dark gray like that. And then to change the value, like we did on the grayscale, you add white until you get the lightness that you like. So here's my darkest value, here's the midtone, and here is the lightest value that we're going to use to paint the rocks. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do that for you, and you can see, how it goes. Hopefully it'll turn out nice. So the first thing I like to paint when I paint rocks is I like to paint the side of the rock that is receiving the least amount of light, and that would be the dark side. So here we go. And this is going to be very quick and sketchy. It isn't going to be perfect, but you'll see what I mean by having straight angles and how those interact with each other and interact with the light. So this object here, this rock, I should say, isn't square. It doesn't have hard edges. This one doesn't. This is an arc, like a sphere. And so when we paint this, as it isn't going to have hard edges, we're going to blend these sides together, all the values together. on this one. But on these others, we're going to go ahead and make hard edges. Okay, that's the dark side of the rocks. Now we're going to come back and put in the mid-tone. And you can kind of blend that a little bit, but you want your hard edges to show up. This is the mid-tone of the sphere right here, so we're going to blend that. And this is the mid-tone of this rectangle. We're going to leave that a hard edge. This is the mid-tone of this rectangle. We want that to be a hard edge. This is the mid-tone of this shape, and it's a rectangle too. Okay, so you can see already we have more than half of our rocks painted. We've got a dark side, the part that receives the least light. We've got the mid-tone, and now we're going to add the highlight. So on the sphere, we're going to come right in there and add that highlight, and we're going to blend that and make that a soft edge. Okay, on the rest of the rocks, we're going to make hard edges again. And we're going to do a hard edge there. We're going to do a hard edge here. No blending. And this is a hard edge. And this is a hard edge. This is the top of the rock, so it gets the most light. And we could put a little light right down there. That would make it look pretty good. So a little contrast. Okay, now that is a very simple painting of rocks with 3 values. And of course you know that most rocks have more than 3 values, but just for the purpose of showing, demonstrating how this is done, 3 values is enough. Now, what we're going to encounter next is we're going to encounter the shadows. If the light is coming in from the left, it's hitting the top of all of these rocks first, and then this rock here is blocking the light, so it's going to cast a shadow right there. So we're going to mix a shadow color and come right in there and add that shadow. So we're adding that shadow to the rock, and we're adding it to the ground. Okay, and this rock also is blocking the light, and so we're going to have another cast shadow over here behind this rock. So we're just going to add that, just like we did when we painted the sphere on the table. And it's round, so we're going to make it a little bit round and come right in there like that. Okay, now this huge rock is it's casting a long shadow, and so we're going to have to also add a shadow for it. And of course, the shadow won't be up here where we can see the rock stops, but it's behind this one. So the rock goes all the way down to the ground. So that's where we want to put our cast shadow, is on the ground level. So there is the shadow for the rocks, here and here. And this is the dark side, the mid-tone and the light tone. The dark side, the mid-tone and the light tone, using 3 values. And that's how you paint rocks. And that is how you use rectangles and squares, spheres, cylinders, ellipses, any kind of geometric shape that you want to paint. That's the method that you would use. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this demonstration, and this is going to finish up our lessons on geometric shapes, and the next lesson we're going to do is on shadows. Thank you for watching. Bye.